Hello everyone. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Thank you all for being here. I know it wasn't easy. So Sunday morning, first thing after such a party last night. So thanks for that. I hope you have fun with this session. I'll be talking about Qwiki, and this is a case study in knowledge management platforms and how Drupal can really tackle these kind of projects and really provide a great solution. So a little bit about me. My name is Raquel Fialho. I'm a Drupal lead engineer at Entity Data Portugal. You have here my contacts if you want to get in touch and get to know a little bit more, not only about this project, but also all the other projects we have at Entity Data with Drupal and other initiatives we are leading in also giving back to the Drupal community. The Kwiki project is very dear to my heart. I worked in it for 3 years. I learned a lot from it, and so this is a little bit a distillation of what I've learned at Kwiki. So, the beginning. Every project starts with the client. In this case, it was EDP, and that's Portugal's leading company in the energy sector. So, one of the companies at EDP, which is EDP Comercial, is the company responsible for all the client contracts in electricity supply. So they had a call center and customer support service, and they really need some knowledge access tool to help everyone involved in customer service. So you can imagine that when someone from EDP is in the call center answering clients' calls, sometimes the clients are not happy, sometimes the clients are confusing in their questions about their electricity bills or whatnot. So it's fundamental for the person on the other side of the line to get access to information that is relevant to that client. And especially that access has to be really fast, right? Because nowadays, more and more, we don't want to wait for internet to give us something. It needs to be quick and quicker, every year quicker and quicker. So relevant content and delivered very quickly, so hence Qwiki. And that really was the major challenge here. And you can imagine that, well, for electricity and many other utility-related business, there's a lot of the knowledge base for that. Even for a small part of that, which is customer support, is a really huge knowledge base. So how to structure that knowledge and deliver it in a very simple way to the end user, in this case, the call center worker, that was really our main goal. So the main challenges here were basically one-click content access, so like I was telling you about, very quick. The ability to have cross-referenced content to, okay, so this is pertinent but relevant, but maybe this is also, so like a very fluid and organic navigation, somewhat like you have on Wikipedia, right, where you get a page and then, oh, this interests me, so let's see this, oh, and this also interests me, so there's this organic navigation between content, and that was very important. The client also wanted targeted content and search algorithms, and this was also fundamental because I give you the example of the customer service, but there were other departments in the company that needed this kind of tool to manage their own knowledge base. So the content needed to be targeted for specific user profiles, and that was also very important. And of course, everyone wants flexible and user-friendly content management, and we're talking about a few dozens, if not hundreds, of content editors working with this platform. So they are also demanding users. So here we are talking about not only back office, front office experience, but also back office user experience was very important. And again, like I was telling you about, this started as a tool to support the customer service, but quickly expanded inside the EDP group. And so nowadays, there are many different teams working with Qwiki, with different goals, with different knowledge bases. And so it was important to have something that was flexible enough to accommodate these different kind of end users. So what is Qwiki? I can show you a little bit about it, not too much because this is an internal application, so it's not available to the wider public. The name Qwiki came from K for knowledge, and then Wiki, which means fast in Hawaiian. So today, Qwiki is a smart platform, a dynamic one, and which is user-tailored, which provides, sorry about that, user-tailored responses to smart search. It also provides meaningful information, with the end goal being, let's deliver better customer service first and foremost. And then with this platform we've built, okay, so now it's useful not only for customer service, but also other departments. And so now it's being more widely used in other parts of the company. But, well, today for this session, I will focus mostly on customer service. Of course, that's why I'm here. Qwiki is powered by Drupal. Drupal was chosen mostly because of the modular construction with Drupal. So in the beginning, the client had an idea of what they wanted, but this was not meant to be a project with a beginning and an end. This is an ongoing project. They're actually using agile methodologies to keep improving Qwiki. And so Drupal really fits well with this mindset that is, okay, I know what I want today. I'm not sure what I will want in a year. Definitely not in 2 years, but I know Drupal is flexible enough and also, and this is important, robust enough and safe enough to keep providing me solutions regardless of what requirements I will have in the future. So that was basically why Drupal was chosen. Another important point about Qwiki is the engagement with its end users. And here again, end users are front office users, let's call it that, and then the content managers. And so there's really been an effort to have feedback loops, not only inside the platform itself, and I will show you a little bit about that, in terms of having communication channels within the platform, but also outside the platform, having, and the client promotes this internally, having meetings, regular meetings with key users of the platform. They're called Quickers, actually. And so, okay, let's meet with the Quickers, and that's something the client does, not the dev team, but the client does this. Okay, let's meet with the Quickers, get their feedback, get ideas on how to keep making this better and better. And again, the focus at the end is always knowledge sharing. We're talking about, again, a huge knowledge base. And so most important thing, to have an efficient content management platform, friendlier back office interface for content editors and managers. So this is Qwiki in the news. Most of this is in Portugal, but Qwiki is now the #1 knowledge management platform for customer service in the EDP group. And this means there were other technologies that were being used for knowledge management in EDP that have been since discontinued. So more and more areas within the companies of this group are adopting Qwiki, and that's great. It was a case study not so recently, but well, in 2019 at the conference, specifically focusing on knowledge management project. So that was great. And also the other prints you see here are internal newsletters from the EDP group talking about Qwiki and promoting Qwiki within the organization, which I think has been key also to the increasing acceptance and adoption of Qwiki as the #1 knowledge management platform inside EDP. A few numbers. I won't bore you with more numbers than these, but I think these are quite impressive. And again, we're talking Drupal. So this is Drupal-powered platform that allows all of this. So there are more than 10,000 users. There are more than 20,000 published content pages. Huge monthly page views number. And I'm saying huge. You might not find this so large, but we're talking about Portugal. So this is big for us, big number. And again, a lot of content editors across 6 different companies. And so getting that content editing part also well organized, so that content editors are not stepping on each other's toes. That's also something we've been able to do, fortunately. Now, looking under the hood, how did we build Qwiki? Well, it is a progressively decoupled Drupal platform. I'll get into a little bit of that later on. So we have Angular in the front end, and later in the project there was the requirement to develop a Cordova mobile app, so that's also working for one of the companies using Qwiki. I won't get into the Cordova part of the project. Well, this is not DrupalCamp, so. But still, with all of with this package and mostly Drupal powering it, and then a little bit of Angular components in the front end, we get a seamless end user experience. The architecture, like I was telling before, it's robust and flexible enough. And of course, we are counting on the support of Drupal community. Also, big support from our team in Portugal at Entity Data with modules like my colleague Deborah was showing yesterday. We all keep contributing with models and trying to build models also for Qwiki that are as reusable as possible, so that we can publish it in the community, and well, other people can find it useful as well. Now, as I was explaining earlier, this started out as, customer service at EDP Comercial needs this. And today, you can see here, EDP Comercial is just one of the 6 companies that's using Qwiki. There are 5 other companies, 2 of them are here in Spain. So what we have in terms of architecture, let's say, it's a multi-site Qwiki. It's not multilingual in a sense, because each Qwiki is either Portuguese or Spanish. So this is what we have. We have a shared code base, and then each company has its own database, its own users, and in some cases, its own configurations, because, for instance, there's a company that said, we don't want this functionality. This will only confuse our users. We don't want this. So because Drupal is modular, as we all know, we are able to say, okay, in this company, we will not activate this module. And it works well. But still, it's something we have to keep in mind every time we develop something new in Qwiki, which is, this needs to be more or less separated from everything else. There can be as little dependency as possible between functionalities, in line with what Drupal is, right? Which is modular and just on, off, and it all still functions, so that we can have meet the different demands from these 6 different stakeholders and make sure that their Qwiki is as close as possible to the ideal Qwiki for them. And of course, with 6 stakeholders, the ideal Qwiki for each one of them will be different. So, like I was telling you also, this is progressively decoupled. So it was not meant to be this way by design in the beginning of the project. It was just Drupal. But like I said, this is agile development. And so as time went by and the client had new ideas in terms of what they wanted to see in the front office and in the user experience, there was this decision to, okay, then let's load Angular components on our Qwiki base, let's say. And so what we have is the CMS. The CMS renders twigs like we would expect with Drupal, and then twigs have in themselves these Angular components, and these Angular components will call the CMS again and ask for REST views and load the content in this way. So in a sense, part of the page in the front office of Qwiki is loaded up front with the twig, and then the other part are REST calls that are being loaded asynchronously. Like I said, multi-site. So also, as you can imagine, these different companies have very different identities and logos and so on, and colors, even fonts. So what we have is the base team that was developed for the original stakeholder, which is EDP Comercial. And then we developed different sub-teams from that base one for all the other companies. What we've had in the process is that sometimes, for whatever reason, companies need to change their look and feel, the logos, the colors, whatever. And so we've had to rework, actually, now that I'm looking at it, all these companies, including Comercial, have had rework on their branding. And so that's also another part of the project, to keep Qwiki in line with the stakeholders' branding guidelines. Having this this architecture for teams, of course, allows that, because we are just tweaking or changing everything in a subteam and not affecting the others, of course. So let's see what challenges, major challenges we had with Qwiki and how we addressed them. So the number one always was search engine. We want a wonderful search engine. We want Google in Qwiki. That's the reference, right? Clients always say we want Google here, and now for streaming they want Netflix here. So yeah, there's these references. So how do we have a powerful search engine with fast response times and meaningful results? Well, the solution was a Solar search platform, and we have different indexes for different search functionalities in both front and back office. So that we have, maybe we have different weights attributed to different fields, like you can imagine title or keywords or whatever. So maybe in some parts of the platform, the title is more relevant, and in other parts, maybe it's the tag. So we address that by having different indexes. We also have tagged content using hierarchical taxonomies for better categorization. And we also developed, I wouldn't say a little model, frankly, it is a little model, it's quite simple, module for voice search integrating with Google API, but it's quite powerful, and the users really find that nice to have voice search capability inside Qwiki. So we also have that, and that's a module we intend to put out in the community soon. Now, challenge number 2. How do we have intuitive navigation with such intertwined content? Like I said, huge knowledge base. How does it all connect in a way that it's friendly and quickly to access? So I'm showing you here one of the solutions. There are others, but this is, I think, a good example of what we've done. So we've taken the content type, simple content type in Drupal, and we've structured relationships between content types that allows us to have this structure in a page. So imagine this, I will show you later, but for now just imagine it. There's a header and there's a side navigation, and that's given to us by a specific content type, which is the structure content type here. In the structure content type, you can have parent nodes, which are the key, the base of this tree, let's call it, a tree. And also the child nodes, which are the branches that come from that parent tree. And then on the other side, we'd have a different content type, which is the content type. And this is sort of the leaves in that tree, okay? So the content type will provide the body of the page, the paragraphs, the titles, the images, the tables, and so on. And it's being referenced by the structured content type. The good thing about this, one of the good things, I think, you can link, like you can see there, there's the link, so there can be links between these trees of content, and also the body can be reused. So the same content node can be used in different trees. And this was also a requirement from the client, and we built it like with Drupal's basic building blocks. So looks simple, right? Yeah, it was fun to do. It still is. So the next challenge was how to set up multiple channels for two-way communication between front office and back office users. Like I explained before, this was also very important for the client to understand if users are happy with this solution, how can we make it better for the users. And so what we've done, not one solution actually, but several different solutions. Of course, Drupal core comments are there. We also have ServiceNow integration. ServiceNow is an internal application for EDP where they basically handle their tickets. So we have that. We have flag-based content rankings, which basically classifies a given content as clear or confusing or incomplete. There's also a messaging system connecting end users and platform managers, and notifications and alerts also associated with important content updates. These last two features are custom, of course. There are a lot of business rules behind this, very specific to this client. So there's a lot of customization there, but just keep in mind that both messaging system and notifications are based, again, in content types, and flags and all those basic building blocks Drupal gives us. Okay, so basic can do a lot. Think Lego, right? With Lego we can build whatever. And I feel the same way about Drupal. Now, like next challenge. What does a user tailored experience look like in this kind of project, which is a knowledge management platform? The solution, well, we have given the users the ability to mark content and media as favorites. And these favorites actually appear in their homepage for quick access. So if a user knows he keeps coming back to the same content, he has in his homepage a section with cards, just a link to his favorite contents, and you can just go there and do it quickly. There's also the ability for users to save their search preferences. Imagine a user will always or typically has to insert a given tag or tags in their search preferences because clients keep asking for that. Well, they can save that in their search preferences and then change it later if they want to. And also the main menu, which is a huge menu, it's fitted to the user's profile. So there's filtering inside the main menu because it's that big, it needs a filter. And the user can easily go there and say, okay, so imagine I'm B2C support. So yeah, I just want to see B2C content. Yeah, cool. Here you have it in the main menu. So, and finally, the challenge number 5 was how to build a more intuitive and flexible content editing experience. So and now we're talking a little bit about what goes on in the back office. So we have, again, in the back office, a powerful search and replace functionality. This was a handful to do, but well, it's done. We have approval workflows and notifications also in the back office. So a user will know if there's something there that he needs to approve, because as you can imagine, with this kind of structure in knowledge management, you will have editors and managers and admins. There's actually these 3 kind of profiles in the back office to make sure that there's proper vetting of all the content before it's published. So there are notifications regarding these approval workflows. There's also a nested content edition to keep the user in context. So user opens one of those structures I was telling you about and it's all there. He can see it there. We are using, of course, paragraphs, but also inline entity form to get everything in the same place so the user doesn't have to navigate to some other page to look for the other branch or whatever. It's all in there. And we are also using Drupal group module that allows us to have segmented content according to the business area. And we are also using the group SAML module, which my colleague Deborah and her team developed. And this is an integration with SAML for user authentication, bring together SAML and the Drupal group module to have users come in using SAML, and then Drupal automatically knows what group they should be assigned to and with what group profile. Now, a little bit, I hope you can see, this is all I can show you about Qwiki, I'm afraid. So there's the title, there's the tags. In the top right corner, you can see the rankings I was telling you about, those little faces. So, yay, it's clear, or maybe it's confusing, or maybe it's incomplete. And the user can also leave a comment. There's also the page views, and that little star in the corner is to mark the content as a favorite. Here you can see what I was telling you about, the decision tree content. There's the decision tree structure on the left side of the screen, which gives that navigation. And on the right side of the screen, you can see the body. So what's happening here under the hood is that we are loading the structure in the twig, and it's always there. And as the user clicks each one of those links, there's no page refresh. The Angular components are simply calling out to that content in the backend and say, okay, give me this one, give me that one. And so all we need really is to have that navigational tree and the references to those nodes. And then once you click that, Angular components call out to that content, the content in those nodes, and there we have it. So no refresh needed here, it's all in the same page. As for integration, so we are using the core JSON API as well as other contribute custom modules. We are integrating with Active Directory, and that is the client's main user management system. We are also, like I was telling you before, integrating with ServiceNow. There's also Google Analytics. There's Firebase for the notifications in the Cordova app, and the Web Speech API for the voice search. And again, also other EDP internal applications, because as you can imagine, with all the knowledge inside Qwiki, there are other applications that like go to Qwiki to get the knowledge, and that's what the JSON API is for. And so we are also providing that. In terms of DevOps, we have Qwiki hosted at Acquia. The project has a CI/CD pipeline to ensure consistent delivery and quality in everything new. So the pipeline is set up in Jenkins, and we have integrated analysis with Q1 for code security and SonarQube for code quality. And well, what's the best thing about Qwiki? Well, to me personally, different people will have different answers to this, but to me, it's the client feedback, okay? Because we build all this, and then again, the project people on the side of the client are very concerned with their users and if they're happy or not. And so these are results from an internal survey conducted by the client in 2020. So more than 80% were happy. So that's a lot, I think. So we're very happy with that. The key performance indicators were also very good. So they are now having a much faster customer service at call centers, stores, and agents. And this was the first requirement in the beginning of the project. If you remember, it needs to be fast. So the average page load was reduced from 4 or 7 seconds. And I have to say, 4 or 7 seconds was not Drupal, okay? It was some other technology. Drupal doesn't do this. So with Drupal, we reduced it to under 1.5 seconds. The average search returns results in under 1 second. That's also very good. For what the client was used to, it's definitely exceptional. We also have improved search capability. So the search bar shows suggested contents a la Google search engine. And so even when you have the search results, you can filter them, you can order them. There's a lot of other nice to haves that were attached to the search engine. Again, the client is very happy to see a more effective cross-channel integration in their knowledge base. There's a much easier onboarding for new content editors because people come in, they get acquainted with Drupal's back office, they get acquainted with the content types available to them, and soon enough they're ready to go to start publishing or editing or whatever they need to do with the content. So that's also very good. We also have, again, differentiated content management profiles, and this has allowed Qwiki to expand beyond EDP Commercial and be used, like I was telling you before, in other EDP group companies for other purposes than not just customer service. And so this has definitely improved the quality and the accountability of the content management inside the EDP group. Also, again, the feedback loops we've been getting from end users are precious in guiding future developments, and that's also been improved. So more and more users are happy to freely give their feedback and keep making Qwiki better and better. From the company's viewpoint, so again, documented and shareable knowledge, autonomous learning for content editors and managers, and teams are happier with Qwiki, and so they are more committed to provide quality information to that shared knowledge base. So imagine an editor sees that there's a lot of frowny faces in a given content. Oh, this is confusing. So, okay, so I know I need to work on this. This is confusing. I need to make this better. And so this really improves the engagement in the back office users. And also there's these meetings, like I was telling, between Quickers where they get together and they talk about their experiences and how they can improve their use of Qwiki. And there's also, of course, better communication with these internal notifications that allows different user segments and specialized teams to know in real time what's happening in the company that's relevant to their job, basically. So what's in store for Qwiki? Well, it's hard to say. Like I was telling you about, this is an ongoing project, but the goal they have decided is to expand Qwiki's reach inside the company. So new features, a new area for upper management, knowledge management. They're also developing these corporate subsites to foster adoption of Qwiki in other areas within the organization, not only with the 6 different stakeholders, but to keep growing inside each one of the stakeholders, keep promoting better communication and happiness in the business teams when they use it, and also the mobile app, which at this moment is only being used by a subset of users inside one of the stakeholders, but the idea is that the mobile app might be adopted by other stakeholders, but that's still in progress. And so the onboarding is good, but it can always be better. So they're envisioning these interactive step-by-step tutorials for new end users and content editors. And again, continuous user experience improvement, which is fostering user satisfaction and commitment of everyone involved to make Qwiki better and better. And well, this is it. So thank you all for being here. Again, wasn't easy. Hope it was worth it. Special thanks to the sponsors, and of course my last slide. I hope to see you all in Lisbon. In October, we're having Drupal Day there, promoted by the Drupal Portugal Association and also NTT Data. So please read the QR code, sign up, it's free. And we also throw great parties at Lisbon, so come and see. Thank you very much. Any questions? I'm sorry, you asked about Solar instead of?
Other platforms for search.
Well, when I joined the project, it was already Solar, but I suspect it's because the infrastructure was already in Acquia. So Acquia provided the best overall solution in terms of architecture. So, okay, then we go with Solar, which I think it's what Acquia is offering, yeah.
Thank you very much. I like a lot the presentation. I have a question about the scalability, because you saw us 6 companies. So when you have 100 companies, how will you do?
There are not that many companies in the EDP group. Okay, so this is Portuguese reality. So 6 companies for us is a lot within a big group, and EDP is one of the biggest companies in Portugal. So there is no prediction in the near future for adding any more companies. Maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3, or maybe one day there will be 10 companies, but there will never be 100 companies, I think. So yeah, so that's not a problem we're anticipating anywhere in the near future, not in the next decade. So if we ever get there, well, maybe there are flying cars and other solutions. So who knows? So, but it's not a problem for now, nor for the near future.
No?
Yeah.
You need to create your cost, just create a database, so what is the domain that points to that database, we are going to be free. So one company doesn't influence the other. One of the sites is a good point to command that. split the scalability from one to the other. It's possible. The architecture as it is as I mentioned, it's just create a different database and just point it there. Okay. For instance, I think that this current solution is working on 20 different servers, just to keep it fast as enough. So, as the architect, if you need more power, you just need to add more capabilities and you just will just work.
It's one application,
It's one code base. If you have a different database, it means that it's a different installation.
Yeah.
Like Kwiki was mentioned, if you want just a module to be activated on one company, you just activate it on that company, doesn't influence the other. The code base is the same.
Hello. What problems have you found about having over 400 editor users?
Well, I'd say the problems are more in terms of management than in terms of development. I can tell you what those users complain more about, and 400 we'll hear more complaints than if it were just 10, right? So they want us to improve the back office editing experience with the complex content types. Because we're using inline entity form, we think it's cool, we think it works, but well, they use it every day and say, oh, this is very cumbersome to do, I have to do this 10 times. Get us a way to clone, for instance, to clone branches inside a tree. So we developed that for them. So they say, oh, but this is still, you know, they're always complaining. So, but we are always keeping up with their complaints and trying to find better and better solutions. So I'd say, there's no problem actually. So there's just, they keep giving us more and more feedback and we keep improving it. So there's really I don't see a problem. I haven't sensed any other problems with that, no.
Any question? It's finished.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all.